away your game.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Deep Dive Zone. This is a Sonic the Hedgehog replay podcast for fans of all shapes and sizes, and I have to make a confession. Last episode, I said that a plane crashed into my house, and that was a lie. It was actually a bus. But what it means is that we're going to be playing the rest of the games that we were going to play last week today. So we're starting off, of course, with Sonic Eraser, the other falling block Sonic puzzle game.
Yeah, it's a game.
It's weird. This was a game that you had to download from SEGA Net, but you had to have a subscription for it. I think it was kind of like Nintendo's Satellaview thing.
A better comparison, I think, would be the N64's RandNet.
Oh, okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't fully understand how a lot of Nintendo's online stuff worked before the GameCube.
Well, not fully understanding things is going to be a theme for tonight because this game's entirely in Japanese.
Yeah.
It makes much difference, really.
It really doesn't.
It's a fairly simple to understand game. I experimented with it a little bit and was able to figure out how the game works. I mean, it's a versus puzzle game. Well, it has single player modes too, so not all that different from Mean Bean that we played recently, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose the core difference is, of course, you're matching just two shapes basically instead of four colors, right?
Right.
And you can still make combos with that, but it means that things are going to have a lot more of a back and forth quality to them because you're always going to get four pieces at once.
Yeah, well, it could just be that I never played this game before, but I definitely had a lot of more trouble keeping the board clear, which isn't helped by the fact that the pieces you can't rotate like in Tetris. You just change the positions of each of the shapes within the shape, the larger shape. It's weird.
Right.
I tried the versus computer mode, which is, you know, kind of your Puyo attack sort of mode, but not exactly. And it was, you know, there was this creeping feeling the whole time because even though I was able to, you know, match blocks, they would still keep piling up, and that's not a feeling that you get with Puyo. If you just tread water in Puyo, you know, the enemy will kill you, but you can tread water if there's no attacks.
Yeah, I definitely would have trouble in a straight single-player version, although the single-players versions are different sorts of challenges. But even if there weren't, I think it would be annoying.
Yeah.
And it's not nearly as fun as Atmosphere as Mean Bean either. I mean, it's kind of just very bare bones with, should mention, the music is awful. It's cold
visuals with ear-grating music.
Well, I'd like to point out that the game's it's called a Sonic game, and visually it has basically nothing to do with Sonic.
Yeah, it has like two Sonic sprites, and that's it.
Hey, maybe this is where Sonic was during Mean Bean Machine, because it's just Sonic here and nothing else.
Oh, Eggman trapped him in this much worse puzzle game, yeah.
Well, he trapped him in the Eraser dimension.
Yeah, just him looking in a mirror, in this dark environment, and yet somehow it like enrages him or something. So whenever you get an attack off, there's a fun little animation where he like punches himself.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you get an attack off, Sonic runs and punches his other self in the chest.
I love that. That's great.
That animation is the single best thing about this game.
It really is. Everything else is just...
Yeah, it's either dull or just incomprehensible. Like, sometimes your blocks are obscured for reasons that I don't know. Sometimes your controls get messed up for reasons that I also don't know.
I will say, there was one time that well, aside from the punch, that kind of caught me off guard, because you beat the CPU. There's no like story mode or anything, which really hurts the playability. You just fry the CPU at a certain difficulty, and then when you win, like Sonic runs around with invincibility, sparkles, and it rolls the credits. And I'm like, what? Did I do it? That all it took to save the erasers?
That's it. That's the whole game.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, I guess if you're not having fun with a game, the best thing that it can do is end quickly.
Yeah, pretty much.
I suppose so. There's no... Well, this is really put as much time into it as you want. I'm sure if someone was like so enthralled with the gameplay, they'd become a master at it, but there's no motivation to.
I think the most remarkable thing about this game, other than, again, Sonic punching himself, which is just, we need more of that in modern Sonic, really, The most remarkable thing about this game is that it's technically like the second Sonic game ever released. This was released in 1991.
Yes. Yeah,
Which
that's something.
Yeah, it's it's wild to imagine. Not a lot of people even had internet in 1991. So to have internet and the service to download entire games, maybe that would have made that, novel.
Yeah, I guess to be fair, I believe internet was much more widespread in Japan. I think.
No, I think that's correct, because I know that the Genesis had some kind of download program. I'm pretty sure maybe the Saturn did. The Dreamcast certainly did. That was the first DLC console.
The Saturn actually had a straight up internet browser.
Oh wow!
It was based off of Netscape.
Mom, can you help me pirate anime on my Sega Saturn?
Download LimeWire.
Oh yeah, you can get Kaza, you can get Bonzi Buddy.
Oh, Bonzi.
You can download a Sega Genesis emulator, and then you can play our next game of the night, Sonic Spinball.
I don't really think I'd want to be honest.
No, not really me either.
Yeah.
This game,
it's not. I can't say it's a bad game, and I'm sure some people love it. But I just don't like pinball. That's all there is to it.
That's my problem as well.
Yeah, I'm not a pinball guy of any sort. This game, it's hard for me to call it good or bad for those reasons, but it's also that, it's like it's got the same level of, it's got detailed graphics, it's got, I would say, at least effort placed into the music, aside from the options music, which is going to blast your eardrums out. But it's like, trying to play it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it feels unresponsive, very... I'm not sure what the right word is. I guess unresponsive is the right word, but that feels like a very lame way to put it.
Well, and it's a weird thing to say, because normal pinball machines, the ball is literally unresponsive because it's controlled by gravity, not by a D-pad.
Right, and you can slightly control Sonic.
Yeah, not to any major extent.
Not enough.
Really. Yeah, exactly, not enough.
Small enough that I'm like, am I actually making a difference? And I can't really tell.
It's constantly asking you to hit these precise little targets in these levels so that you can get, however many Chaos Emeralds that are all blue needed to clear the stage. But it doesn't feel, your controls are not nearly precise enough to do it.
And I don't think this is just a pinball video game problem also, because there are other games like Space Cadet Pinball which actually feel like decent games.
Well, it's that this game was trying to be a pinball game, but also trying to be Sonic, which is why it has... Sonic has platforming controls. He can run left and right and spin dash, but boy does it not feel right.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. It's just weird, because I think most of pinball, it's for going for score. Obviously, like console pinball games, you can do weird, different stuff with it. But the different thing they decided to do with this game was... let's make it just all trial and error. We got this little status strip is what they call it according to Sonic Wiki.
I just call it a ticker.
You got messages that tell you if you're doing anything right, but it doesn't tell you what you're supposed to actually go and do. So you'll bounce around until you hit the very right thing, and it's like, mad impressive, you decoded Robotnik's ancient ciphers, and I'm like, that's what I was supposed to do?
Cluck alert, worm bagged. Yeah, this is a game that I value for a lot of its presentation, because I think that the pixel
it looks decent.
It's genuinely pretty good, and some of the music is good. I'd say I like Toxic Caves. I don't mind Lava Powerhouse. I really dislike the Machines music because it's just beeping.
Okay, so I've been listening to the music from these games, except Eraser. On the side after completing them to get a better feel for the soundtrack, because when I'm playing the game I'm really too focused on the game to pay attention to the music most of the time. And initially I agree, the machine doesn't really sound like music, but it's got an interesting riff to it, actually. I think it's kind of atmospheric. It's like it's a hybrid between what you'd think it would actually sound like with those machines making beeping and whirring and whatever noises, and then actually still music, and I think it's really cool for that.
I guess part of it might be that I'm playing the game with sound effects that cover up the baseline to some extent, so you might be on point with that.
Right. That's true.
Um,
I completely agree, though. The presentation is quite nice, and I must confess, I didn't play through the entirety of this game. I played through the entirety of Toxic Caves, and then I just level selected to get a taste of the other environments. And initially, it was always sort of a nice little change of pace to switch to each of the new environments. They've all got an interesting vibe to them, but then it all melts away when I don't know how to move farther on the board.
Yeah, well, and as somebody who did play through the whole game, I don't really blame you for that, because these things can take up to like half an hour sometimes. You know, the machine was my fault, kind of, in that if you hold on some of the flippers to the side, they actually become elevators that can take you up to higher parts, and I was just trying to knock myself, all the way up. But just knowing that in the first place is something the game doesn't tell you, like you said, and so the charm of the music or visuals wear thin pretty quick. And so I think the most that this game ends up having to offer is in the bosses and the bonus stages. Back in I think it was the Sonic 3 episode, we talked about a modern interpretation of the Narcissus myth in which every single badnik looks like Eggman. And this game's bosses kind of have that, where Scorpius, I think it's called, the first boss, has an Eggman face. The second boss is like weird flying Eggman heads. The third boss, I don't remember what it is, because I played this like 2 weeks ago, and I'm a little bit drunk tonight. But it's kind of got some of that going on. And the fact that they all make weird screeching noises when you hit them probably doesn't help.
Yeah, I can't talk about the other bosses, but Scorpius threw me off. I was like, what is this? This has got like creepy Garfield drawing vibes to it. Like, this doesn't look like it should be an official design for a Sonic boss. It's so unsettling. And yeah, with the screeching, and I'm like, what is it doing here?
Bullets don't work, Sonic. Yeah, I like the boss music, but it's got the same, kind of ear-grating electric guitar sound as the options menu.
Yeah, aside from the options menu, I think it's my least favorite piece.
Yeah, and so the other thing that I remark on in this game is the bonus stages, which are really weird to start with because it's Sonic playing the pinball machine, and you can see him in the reflection.
That's really cute.
And each thing that you fight is a different weird thing. The first one is just Eggman, but then the second one is a giant Robotnik head that you knock the teeth out of, but like the gums stay there, so it looks gross. And then another one has Scratch in it, which is like, what continuity are we placing this in? Because, Mean Bean Machine was in the Adventures of Sonic continuity. This game, allegedly, is in the Sad AM continuity, because all the bonus stages have capsules in them that you free Sally and Antoine and Bunny and Rotor from.
But it has the wrong Eggman design.
Yeah.
Too. So I don't buy it.
Well, and it gets even weirder.
Archie Comics continuity, if you're gonna mishmash a bunch of things.
Well, but it gets even weirder because the box art, the Genesis box art, has, I think, Sega Sonic Eggman on it, and it's got Sonic with his stupid mohawk design that the cartoons would use, but the games usually didn't do. But the Game Gear version has Adventures of Sonic Robotnik and Sonic with no mohawk. What are you doing? This is all silly little nitpick stuff, but it's interesting to see how they organized the different phases of the brand at the time, because it's like, what?
Yeah, no, I always thought it was weird to see there's... because this is the Japanese Sonic 2 box art. The American Sonic 2 box art has, like...
The American box arts usually have the Japanese Eggman design, but he just has black, soulless eyes.
Okay, it's the eyes that they change. Okay, actually, it looks like Triple Treble has Robotnik, though. Like, American Robotnik. I guess my point is, yeah, the box arts are weird in general. They can, well, famously for early games, they would be like... They make it look like nothing like what the game is, just in general. They're just something to catch your eye. So, yeah, that's weird, but not at all anything unique to this game.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the most ubiquitous series for box arts that don't represent the game is. It's like, my gut says Mega Man, or like maybe early Final Fantasy.
I feel like early Mega Man's a good one.
Weren't the Final Fantasy box arts just like a fancy logo, though?
Think so.
I'm remembering like Final Fantasy 1 having some like barbarian dude on the front, but... This is my most embarrassing mistake in the whole series. I said Final Fantasy 1, but I was imagining Castlevania 2. In any case, yeah, so box arts are weird, and so is Spinball. I don't think I have much to say on the Game Gear version. You know, I mentioned to you guys you didn't need to play much of this because it's actually pretty close to the Genesis version in a lot of ways.
I don't even think I finished the first table on the Game Gear version. Or actually, I think I played the Master System version, but anyway.
Yeah, same difference.
Yeah, it's the same game, basically.
Well, it's got worse graphics and sound for the most part, which is, you know, that was part of the reason that we said anything about it in the first place.
Right, yeah. It's just a worse looking and sounding version.
Yeah.
As I said, I did listen to music separately, and, you know, if you like 8-bit music, it's solid for that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a stripped-down version, although closer to some of the other games, just like the 8-bit Mean Bean. It also lacks the status strip at the top of the screen, which makes the puzzles harder, and I forgot to mention, that was like one of the things that was keeping me going, is sometimes the status strip comes out with like these snarky remarks, like in Final Showdown or whatever it's called. You're about to fall in lava, it's like ready to fry, and you're like, I'm kind of mad, but I'm also laughing.
Yeah, and when you fight the final boss, when it throws you out, it sends you in like a windsock or whatever, and the ticker says, "Smell my socks," which is, you know, maybe funny to some people, maybe a little erotic to others. I'm not going to comment on that part, but it's you know, it's got personality, which the Game Gear version doesn't have personality. I think that's the best, most succinct way to put it.
Yeah, that is quite true.
Yeah.
But I think our next episode will be a lot more interesting because we are going to be talking about a game that is not a Sonic the Hedgehog game. It is a game set in the Sonic universe, but it does not star Sonic the Hedgehog. We are going to be talking about Chaotix next time, starring Knuckles the Echidna.
Knuckles the Echidna and his weird friends. Lots of wacky companions in that game, I must say.
That's going to be interesting to talk about.
It's all coming next time. We will see you guys next week.